And if you're new here, thanks for joining us.
Today we're going to go over our experience living in the RV for 3 months now in this tiny 15-foot space.
Living in an RV park stationary.
That's right, stationary. They said 15-foot space, but really the inside is 15 feet about, and the outside is 20?
Yeah, it's 20 feet, but from the wall where the bed ends to the wall where the bathroom ends is 15 feet, 0.7.
All right, well, let's give you guys a little overview. So general, what are we going to tell them?
So we're going to talk a little bit about expenses. I don't like getting into details, so excuse me for not sharing every single detail. But I want to give you a general idea of what's happening with us.
I think this is a happy medium because I did plan on doing like expense videos, breaking down all of our expenses, and Lou feels that it should be more personal. You know, that it is a little too personal.
Yeah, I'm more private than Angie is, and for me, I don't like sharing those details, but I want to give you a general overview and understanding. And starting off with like the lease that we had at the apartment, the last apartment we had, which was 650 square feet. It was at the beach, probably
8 blocks.
7 or 8 blocks to the sand. Okay, so right now at the park we're about 15 or 20 minutes from the water.
Yeah.
Driving,
right, of course.
Right. And we're paying about 60% less for the lease here than we were paying for the lease at the apartment.
Right.
So that's a nice savings.
Significant decrease
Yeah.
of expenses in and of itself.
Exactly.
So that's nice.
The same thing happens with the electricity. So the electricity in the apartment, like I said again, it's 600 square feet. It did have central AC.
Right.
Sorry,
Okay.
central AC and central heat. And we are paying about 50% less here.
I would agree with that.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot less space that it has to power up. Everything in here is LEDs. Not everything in the apartment was LEDs.
Exactly. We don't have an oven.
Yeah, there's no oven. I mean, there's quite a few things that it drops.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the light is significantly lower too.
Exactly.
So that's awesome.
We have a new expense, and that's water. So here at the park, basically, there's nothing included. You're basically paying for a parking space. You have sewer and electric. We don't pay for sewer.
We don't pay for sewer. I don't know if it's part of the whole water package, but
I don't really understand that part too well. But we do pay for water, and it is 1,000 gallons, $40. So if you spend under $1,000, you get $40, or somewhere close to that, 37, 38, 35, 34, somewhere in there. And if you go over the 1,000 gallons, I think it's
that part I
$9
forgot.
for another.
For every 1,000 or for every 100?
Not really sure, but it's an extra $9.
I wasn't prepared for that. I would have pulled it up right now. I have it saved in my phone. But yeah, you pay an extra surcharge for every certain amount. So I don't remember if it was every 100 gallons or every 1,000
But to give you an idea, we spend between 57 and 69 gallons of water a month.
So every month when it's time for them to charge the rent, they always leave a little notice on the door with, okay, so this is what your rent is and this is your water expenses, and it shows you how many gallons you use and then the base fee. And obviously we've never gone over that because we haven't even used like 100 gallons. It's crazy. I thought we used so much more water than that.
Yeah,
I mean, we're being a lot more conservative.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit more of a pain, like bathing in here. So yeah, I don't shower every single day, but
TMI.
but we're pretty fresh, and you know, especially not going out and stuff anymore.
Yeah.
There are like the dry showers, right? The baby powder, the baby wipes.
So So another expense that we have that's new is the RV insurance.
Yeah.
And we have that through Geico. And we've had Geico for a very, very long time. Probably the whole time we've been together.
Yeah.
We've had Geico, and we've always had a combined policy. So right now we have a car,
Yeah.
an F-150, and the RV. And although we added the RV, because we had the truck before we bought the RV, it really didn't go up that much. It probably went up about 30% because we got a discount for being with them for a long time. There was some sort of COVID discount that they were applying, and then because I was adding a third vehicle, there was another like courtesy discount. So really it only added like another 30% to our insurance policy.
And she like went all out and got like the best plan. So like that, God forbid, we're in South Florida, there's a hurricane,
Yeah.
and this steps over and we like lose everything. We get everything basically back.
Yeah, like so to give you an example, the interior components, the things that are ours, our computer, our TV, those type of things, our policy is $5,000, and we don't have $5,000 of items in here. We might have 3,000, but we probably don't have 5,000. But I went as far as I could, and again, it's for the same reason, because we do have a lot of hurricanes, we do have a lot of issues, weather issues during hurricane season. Even if we don't get a full-blown hurricane, you might get like a horrible thunderstorm.
Yes. All the time.
Yeah, so I wanted to make sure that we were fully covered. And then the final point here is propane, which is a mystery.
It is a mystery. We've been here, like, okay, so we didn't really turn on the propane the whole, I don't even remember how many months it was that we were renovating. I guess from December through May. So like 5 months we never turned it on. And then now we've been here from May through now in August. And it's probably still halfway through. I think Lou said it's 3/4
It's
actually.
at least 75 or 80%.
We
Still
haven't
good.
gone through the whole bottle that we purchased, so we don't know yet what the propane cost is going to be.
Yeah. But having said that,
Yeah.
so having said that, we don't have an RV fridge that we would put on propane. We are not cooking on propane.
Right.
So what we use propane for is for the water heater, and it hasn't gotten cold enough for us to use the furnace,
Not yet.
which runs on propane as well.
Right.
So all that we're using the propane for is to heat our water,
Right.
and we don't turn it. We turn it on demand. So if we need hot water because we're gonna take a shower, because we have to do something special, because we have something that we have to wash and requires hot water, then we turn on the propane, and then when we're done, we turn it back off. So I don't know if that's
Can it change?
best practices.
Well, it's obviously working for us. So if it's already been that way for 3 months, I'm sure that in the next 3 months we're not going to have any propane expenses. And when winter comes here in South Florida, then at that point we can really determine, which will be more or less around the same time frame, determine as to, okay, now how much faster is it going with the furnace as well as the water heater, which we've been contemplating not turning on the furnace. We do have a little mobile
Right, an electric
one
heat.
that turns around, and we're kind of thinking of using that more because the propane does create more condensation.
moisture.
And we're already in South Florida with really high humidity.
Yeah.
So I don't think I want to add more humidity in
Yeah.
here. So if we are plugged in to power anyways, might
Exactly.
as well plug in our little portable
Right.
electric heater.
And it
so,
oscillates,
so we'll
and you
see.
can set a temperature on it,
Yeah.
just like the furnace has the thermostat. The heater that we have oscillates. It has a thermostat. It has a temperature reading. So it's very convenient because it doesn't have to run all night either.
Right.
And it is dry heat, which would be better for the furnace.
But those tanks are what? They're like $40?
Yeah, they're probably anywhere between $38 and $50, depending
So
on where you get
we
it.
needed to change that like every 9 months, which I still think is still super conservative.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No.
That's like pennies
Yeah. Yeah.
added to our expense.
Exactly. So overall, the expenses for the RV as a whole, if you put them all together, we're probably saving about 50%
Yeah,
that we were spending in the apartment.
I would agree. I would agree. So it's quite the savings. So if you are thinking of cutting back your expenses for any reason, or you just want to minimize a little and downgrade your life, moving into an RV is a great idea to help you save up your little pennies or put that money towards other things like we're doing right now. We're paying off some debt because when we hit the road, we want to hit the road completely 100% debt free.
Right,
So
exactly.
that's our goal of living stationary.
And that could be a goal for you as well. If that was your only goal, this is for us. It was a minimum investment to purchase the RV.
Yeah.
Granted, we didn't get like a brand new RV, and we didn't get a huge RV either. We were like downsizing slowly and slowly and slowly, and so now we're here. And I honestly, I think I wish I would have done this sooner, because we would have saved
Lou
more
has
money.
mentioned that quite a few times. She's like, I really wish I would have thought about moving into an RV park sooner.
Yeah, much more affordable, for sure.
So, on the topic of living in an RV park, is it what you've expected?
Is that one of my questions?
That's not one of your
No.
questions, but I'm throwing that in there anyways. Since we're going to start talking about RV park. Is that sneaky or is that okay?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think that the theory holds that no matter where you are, whether you're living in an RV, in a house, in a mansion, in an apartment, on a boat, you're gonna live in it the same way you've always lived in whatever dwelling you had before. I don't think that really changes, and it hasn't changed for me. I'm a very private person, in spite of being on YouTube. I spend a lot of time at home in front of my computer, in front of the TV. I'm not a person that really likes to socialize a lot. I'm very picky about who I'm going to be around. So for me, it hasn't changed. The space in terms of the size has changed, but not in terms of the way I live my life.
Right. And, I mean, I would say pretty much also when it comes to neighbors, it's more or less the same. When we lived in the last apartment that we lived in, we made a connection with a couple of neighbors, and then everybody else was just like a casual hello, goodbye, let the dogs say hello and then goodbye. So it's more or less the exact same thing. You're going to have the friendly neighbors that are always, going to want to make friends and invite you over, and then they're going to have the neighbors that are just like, hello from a distance.
Yeah, and then you're going to have the neighbors that are kind of tricky and are very interested in you and in your life, and they're kind of creepy. We're not going to mention any names or point in any direction, but we've had that experience.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I think this particular neighbor just wants to make friends because he does go out of his way whenever I'll go outside to throw out the trash. And he'll literally just stand around just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to see if I look in that direction. I'm going to see him from the corner of my eye, okay, try not to look over there, try not to look over there. But since he's staring for so long, I finally look over and it's like, hi neighbor! It's like, hi!
Yeah, I don't think it's friendliness, I think it's creepiness, because how come is it that every time that we go outside, no matter what time of the day it is, this person happens to be standing,
Comes out.
staring in your direction? That doesn't seem right to me. You have too much time on your hands.
And then there's the neighbors that, if you're sitting outside, they'll drive by and they'll wave hello, or if you're walking by, they'll wave hello. But then there's the people that are like, it's painful to say hello. They feel like it's obligated.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, I'm in an RV park and I have to say hi. And Lou tells me there's one particular person that he looks like he's in excruciating.
You can see the pain in his face. When I try not to make eye contact with him so he doesn't have to go through that. I really don't want him to feel the way he looks, But I walk by and I forget that he's there, and I'm looking around and I look at him and he's like, and it's like, oh God, please don't say hello. I'm okay. Don't say hello. It's all good, and I forget, as I'm walking through there, I forget. Oh, don't look over there, so this poor man doesn't have to go through that. And sometimes I forget. Sometimes I keep telling myself, don't look, and I just walk by. That way, if I don't make eye contact with him, he doesn't have to go through that, because you can see the physical pain. Like, oh, hi.
So it's no different than, in a regular home. There's going to be your private neighbors that don't want to interact, and there's going to be those that want to be friendly. So no difference there.
If it was up to Angie, we would have get-togethers here, like barbecue get-togethers, people, children, dogs, squirrels, everyone
I would have a barbecue every night.
would be
Come
here.
on. We can play Scrabble outside, we can smoke a hookah outside, the dogs can run around on the ground since we have this big lawn in front of us.
Yeah, we're both extremists.
I'm the social butterfly.
We're both extremists. Sometimes I tell her, do not say hello to people. Stop it. Stop doing that. Because I kind of feel like she's forcing them to say back hello to them. They haven't even made eye contact with her, and she's like, hello! And I'm like, stop that. Stop that. Maybe they're like me, and they're not really interested in saying hello all the time. But she, she's going to be what she's going to be.
That's why, yeah.
The other surprise we had was we thought we were going to use the pool.
Oh, okay,
A lot
yeah.
more.
We did. But I think COVID has really put a damper on that.
Yes and no. So like, it's great, and not that anything about COVID is great. Please don't misunderstand that, because I have very strong feelings of what's going on, and I'm really sorry for the people that are affected by it. But there's not a lot of people in the pool, so it would be a good time for me to go because not a lot of people in the pool. So that's good. But for some reason, and we would checked it out and said, oh, we'll go a little later, and there's nobody there. Great, there's nobody there. But we still haven't gone. We still haven't managed to actually go and spend time at the pool.
No.
And,
And winter is going to be coming upon us.
and we've lived in an apartment complex where they had a pool, and we used to do pool Sundays all the
Every
time.
Sunday, it was like, okay, let's go chill in the pool for a little bit.
Yeah. So I don't know why we haven't used it. It could be COVID.
I think it is COVID. I really do. I think that's why we've remained to ourselves mostly. But
So I think the one thing we have done is we've gone to play billiards. I don't usually use the word billiards, but I didn't want to confuse pool with pool.
we've gone to the pool hall.
There you go. We've gone to the pool hall to play pool, not to go inside the pool.
Yeah.
And that we've done several times.
Yeah.
And I really like playing pool, even though I suck. I really, really like it, and Angie's getting really, really good at it too. So that is something that we've enjoyed.
Yeah. We'll take our water bottles with us. We haven't taken alcohol with us, although we absolutely can. We usually go pretty late at night, usually after the pool is supposedly closed.
Yeah.
But because as residents we have like the key code to get in, we just go in, turn on the lights, take, I don't know, it's like a cover over the pool table and just play. We have the whole place to ourselves. There's 2 different pool tables in there.
Yeah, there's 2, and they're brand
And
new.
it's-
They just replaced them.
Yeah.
So that's also really, really cool that they're not run down. And then Angie put some music in the background.
Yeah, I
just
turn
hang out.
music on my phone, Pandora. We'll play a few rounds, usually 3, so there can be a tiebreaker. Not that a tiebreaker is needed. Lou always kicks my butt.
I don't. I happen to win. I don't know why, but I happen to win a lot. But she's getting really, really good.
And then that's usually just like the unstressed. Like if it's been a stressful day, Lou's like, I wanna like decompress. Let's go play pool, and we'll walk over. And that's a lot of fun.
That is.
There's other things here that we haven't done either, like the bocce court.
Yep.
But we don't have a bocce set. I think they
Yeah,
have,
they
but
bocce
we haven't
sets.
used it.
They
What
have
else do
darts.
they have? They have the darts. I did tell you last time though that I wanted to practice playing darts.
They have darts, and then they have like an area where you can do puzzles. They have a reading room where
They
they
have
have
the
a bunch of
shuffleboard.
books. They have the shuffleboard
Yeah.
too. That's true.
Yeah.
I think
So there's a
that's it.
TV room also, and then there's the reading, like the little library. We
Yeah.
have like a bunch of puzzles and games and stuff in there. Yeah, but we've taken advantage of is the billiards. And what we need to do is take advantage of this huge lawn we have in the front and play frisbee and practice, maybe not our disc golf because it's going to be too
No,
far,
yeah.
but we can play frisbee out there, play that other thing. What's that?
Kadima.
Kadima. There you go.
Yeah.
We should try to do that
That's
more.
when it's not 100 degrees
Yeah,
outside
that's true.
and 100 humidity, we should definitely keep it right.
True that.
So that's about it. So now we're going to move on to the secret questions.
So questions?
Yes, who goes first?
I'll ask you one first.
Okay.
So
I don't know
if,
if I'm ready for this.
if you guys remember, I think it was in our 1 month video that we were talking about. Was that the video that you mentioned that you were having a hard time with the space negotiation in here? Has
I
that
think I've mentioned that so many times, I don't even know how many videos I've actually mentioned that space negotiation situation.
So now being here 3 months and we've actually rearranged some of the storage for it to be a little bit more comfortable. Like it made more sense for something to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Is it better for you, or are you still having a hard time with space negotiation?
It's a lot better than, I would say it's improved at least 80%.
That's a huge percentage.
Yeah, I do. And also I think it's adaptability, right? So I think I did take into account, I sat here and I did like a, I don't know, Tetris, Rubik's Cube, not really sure. Of like, well, we have things in this area, we have things in this other area, and what are we touching on a daily basis, what are we touching on a weekly basis, what are we touching months ahead, and sort of assign each area that we have with that label. What are we touching every day, what are we touching weekly, what are we touching maybe months. And by doing that, Angie was very good about helping me move, I don't know how many things around in the truck bed, in the garage.
Outside
What I call a
storage.
garage is
The outside storage.
the outside storage of the trailer. Under the bed, just all, basically touched all the storage areas and rearranged everything based on that. Like, what do we touch daily? What do we touch weekly? What goes for a month or even more? And that made it a lot better.
So 80%
At
better.
least 80% better. Not to mention the adaptability. What used to bother me to go to the overhead cabinet on top of that's over the bed to grab my pajamas, my t-shirts, my shorts, my daily wear. That used to bother me. Opening the cabinet, taking out a bin, taking out another bin, getting something out, putting the bin back. I don't even know I'm doing that anymore. It's like disappeared in the background.
Right. Now it's just become second nature.
Yeah. So adaptability has played a great role in it, but rearranging everything definitely propelled that number.
Because her niece, who's now 18, was like, "You will adapt." I think adapt is something that she had said.
Yeah, she said, give it time, Tia, you will adapt. Which, obviously she's right, she's always right.
Wise beyond her years.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so your turn.
So what's one of my questions?
Let's see. I had to write it down because I don't want to forget. Alright, so how is it living and working full time in approximately 100 square feet with another person?
Okay. I don't think it's any different than working in the bedroom in the apartment, like in the separate bedroom in the apartment, having my own space. Because once I'm back there with the rise that I have on the computer and on the computer screen, I really don't see too much of what's going on over here. Every so often I'll see Lou doing her little exercises and I'll see an arm raise. And the arm raise. And the arm raise. And I'm like, what? And I have to like, oh, okay, she's exercising. Like, what's going on?
I do a stretch routine in here, believe it or not. In the space that we have, that when we walk between the bathroom door and the bed, I do my entire stretch routine in here.
Yeah. She does little exercises on the couch, with the ottoman, on the floor. She does like a whole full exercise routine while I'm working. The sounds, like her being on the computer, her watching TV, playing with Lexi, doesn't bother me. But now I think at the beginning, me working didn't bother her as much. But now with time, I think she's, I guess, adapted or gotten used to it, and now she hears me more. So it's tough in terms of me not wanting to disturb you. So I'm very hyper alert of not wanting to disturb her. So a lot of times I get lost in focus at work and that's all I think about, but then sometimes I become alert again and then that's what I'm focusing on. Like, okay, let me try to talk. The other day I was having a Zoom meeting with my manager and it was in the morning, I don't know if you heard. We get on and I'm talking to her quietly and she's like, oh, am I supposed to start whispering too? What's going on? And I told her Lou's sleeping and she complained yesterday that I talked all day because the day before I had like literally I have 23 agents under me and I booked 10 of them as a coaching where I have to do basically their monthly reviews or whatever. So it was a full day of blah, 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 blah. And she had a migraine. She was complaining. So the following morning I had to meet with my boss. She's like, why are we whispering? I'm like, because Lou was complaining about the coachings all day yesterday. Okay, then we'll whisper. And we spent our whole Zoom meeting. And I have her on earphones, so it's not like Lou can hear her. But it was sweet. So.
And having said that, I wear malleable wax-like earplugs on my ears to block out sound, and I wear a face mask to block out light. And Angie gets very animated when she's on her having her conversations, and I don't always hear everything clearly. A lot of times I hear a lot of muzzled sounds, or you know. But after a while, it's like I'm being tortured. It feels like I'm being tortured. And to make matters worse, I sleep very light.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't help the situation.
Right.
That is very light. Also, the job she had before, the position she had before.
Right. Which before you get into that, I wanted to touch on that. So my position before was basically like customer service. So I was talking all day long with customers. And an opportunity presented itself to be basically a supervisor, a team lead, whatever.
No, but I was saying
And-
we completed chat. Is where I was going.
Oh, okay. Half of my day was chat and half of my day was on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So half of my day was on the phone. Towards the end of that position, half of my day was on the phone, and then the other half was chat, where I wasn't talking at all.
At all.
But then a position came up for me to apply for, and the opportunity presented itself for me to be a supervisor, and I was like, oh my god, I'm not going to be on the phone at all.
Yep.
I'm not going to have to talk to customers at
Which
all.
is true.
Which is absolutely true in terms of not talking to customers, but the talking is still ongoing.
Yeah.
At least I'm in a completely different project now than I was before. Same company, just different clients. And this particular project wants us to meet with our agents on a weekly basis. So not only your monthly reviews, but now a follow-up on a weekly basis. So I'm talking to 23 agents every single week. That's a lot of, and like for half an hour at least each. Sometimes it goes over to 40, 45.
Yeah.
And then
Angie
our
makes
team
it,
meetings.
And Angie makes it personable, and she has
Well,
fun,
well,
and she tells
because-
stories.
Yeah, you want to
And
connect
this
with your
goes
agents.
on and on and on and on, and I am
So there's a
like
lot of talking.
10 feet away, wanting to kill myself.
So maybe team lead is not the best position. And I know my manager watches this, so she might see it and might not be happy with me right now, but maybe a QA position would be better, where I'm just listening to calls
I'm all for that.
and rating them.
I'm all
Because
for
the
that.
whole goal of becoming a team lead was less talking.
Yeah.
So that this one wouldn't be barking in the background, disturbing people, and then obviously me blah 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 disturbing her. So I love
And-
my position,
And
but
we have, like, also, to be, like, fair, our schedules are completely different.
complete opposite.
You know, I go to sleep at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So obviously, when she goes to work at 11, I haven't gotten my
She
8
just-
hours of sleep
Yeah,
yet.
she had just gotten into deep sleep.
You know, so it would help if I could change the way I sleep, you know, and maybe wake up a little earlier so I don't wake up so many times. But I'm an insomniac. I have been my entire life. So it's not something that I can flip a switch on. You know, I'm trying. I really am trying. You know, and I apologize to her all the time. If I wake up cranky, I'm sorry. Don't take it personal. I understand. I'm not mad at her in any way, shape, or form. I might be mad in the moment, but I'm not mad at her in any way. You know.
Right.
So, and I also
So
started
it's-
taking 5-HTP to see if I could sleep better, just deeper.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a challenge
That's
for
the
us.
only tough part, is the talking part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I get like alert, where I don't want to disturb her.
But the
one
question was
right
about
now-
you, not about me.
But it is about me, because it's about me focusing on you. It's about me being distracted and like, okay, I don't want to disturb you or wake you up, and I'll see from over there, I'll see at an angle her foot. Her foot's just shaking. I'm like, oh God, I woke her, and she's cranky right now, and she's trying to fall back to sleep, and that foot's just there in the corner of the bed. I see it at an angle. So I'm hyper alert when I'm at work to
Guilty
not
as
disturb
charged.
you. Yeah. So although it's about you, it's about me.
Guilty as charged.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Gotta work it out. Alright.
we'll figure it out.
Next question.
So your question is, if realistically, not like adding 10 feet to the trailer, or, you know, if there is a remodel, a project, something that we can tweak in our space that'll make you significantly happier, what would it be? And I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be like something in the trailer. I guess it could be the surroundings or like anything. Like, is there something that's gonna make living in the RV that we can do that'll make you happier?
I don't think so. I mean, there's really nothing that. The biggest challenge in the RV for me right now is obviously what we just talked about, but that's not something that is a remodel. It's not physical.
Okay.
The only other challenge that I was having was the bathroom. In terms of like, we had decided, well, I thought it was really an idea to put a large bin, Tupperware type bin, inside the tub while it's not being used, because it's not being used every 24 hours since empty space. So why don't we just put like a huge bin in there, and then the like things that we would like, maybe the extra things that would go to the pantry, or paper towels, toilet paper, whatever, we could just stick in there. And that thing exploded. At some point there was a massive explosion, and things were coming out of the sides, and it just
In
became,
the tub.
it became a catch-all. And I don't deal well with disarray. I'm very tidy. I'm one of those people that like everything has its place and a place for everything type of person. I take off my clothes, I fold them to put them in the laundry basket. I have a routine for everything, a process, I should say, a process for everything, what I'm doing. And I don't like disorder. Disorder gives me anxiety. And every time I would go into the bathroom and I would see like the tub had exploded, I was like, okay, I gotta get out of here really fast. And so we corrected that with what we did that I mentioned before. And so now it's a little tiny crate, and it has very minimum things, and I'm okay with that. And that would be like the only thing that I can think about.
Just trying to make more space in the bathroom?
That fix was like the only thing that was really bothering me.
Oh, okay.
Like, the bathroom doesn't have a sink. Didn't think I would need a sink. But if there's stuff in the kitchen sink, like if there's dishes or whatever, I don't feel comfortable brushing my teeth there. I don't feel comfortable washing my face there. So I ordered a collapsible basin from Amazon, and that's what I use in the bathroom. I fill it with water, I brush my teeth, I wash my face, and I dump it in the toilet. So I really can't think of anything that I would want to do when I look around.
Just minimize me talking. That'll make me happy.
Actually, the volume.
Oh, I can't fix that. I'm Cuban.
The volume. It's the volume. That's what it's the volume. It's the
It's not like
volume.
a little knob here for me to lower the volume.
We'll actually be talking to each other, and I'll go, and she's like, oh.
Or she'll go like that.
Yeah, I'll go like that. Yeah. Because she gets very excited. The volume starts to go up with the excitement. And then I feel like she's screaming at me. She's not. She's not. It's just caught up in the passion of the conversation, and I have to tell her, like, or can we go from like a 7 to a 2?
Yeah. She does that all the time.
Yeah.
So what's my second question?
Your second question is, drum roll please. How have you changed by living in the RV?
I think, and I don't know if you're going to agree, but I think I'm a little bit more organized, only because, I've never been a, I guess, dirty person, but I would have my little piles. Like, I would take off my clothes and I'd throw it in one little pile, and they would just.
She's not tidy.
I'd have organized messes.
That's true.
Except for work. For some reason, always at work in my office.
Extremely organized.
It's so weird. We've worked together, so she knows how I work.
Extremely organized.
But yeah, I've always had my little piles. Like, I'd throw all my clothes here, and then I'd pile up all my shoes there. And I'd have like my little organized messes all over the place. And obviously, I don't have that much space here for me to have all those organized spaces. So I would say really now the only thing is like the clothes that I've been like recycling until it's time to throw them in the laundry. It always basically would come into the corner of this couch, because I'd come and I'd get dressed right here before I go, and I'd sit over there for work. And then at the end of the night, I'd take off my clothes and just throw it here and crawl in bed. And then I'd have my little organized mess here. So I think I'm doing better in terms of just having one little space and it being maybe 1 or 2 outfits versus like 2 weeks worth of clothes in multiple places.
I
So-
agree. I think you've improved. But I do wake up picking up after you in the kitchen.
In the kitchen,
Yes.
the days that I don't wash the dishes the night before.
No, little things.
Like right now, the only thing in there is
Not right now.
my air fryer and maybe two or
No,
three
no.
utensils.
No. You get up in the morning and you make your coffee and you need the spoon.
Okay.
And you grab something to eat and
Well,
you rip
that's
it
the
open
one-
and it stays
The
there.
wrapper. Okay. See
And I
what you're
showed it to
saying.
you.
Yeah.
She challenges me.
My little frother, and then I'll leave the frother on top of the counter.
She challenges me for everything. So
It's hard to leave a mess.
yeah. So now I said, would you like me to show you?
Or feed Lexi and leave the can, the top,
The
when you
top
break
can
up
there, the
there instead of throwing it in
spoon.
the garbage.
Yeah. So I'm like, look.
It's really annoying when she does that.
And she doesn't believe me. She's like, well, that's not true. I didn't do that. Okay. Well,
So, what I think I've improved on, I haven't improved on,
you have improved. I said
Okay.
you've improved.
but
That's what I
not
said.
too much.
No, you've improved
Okay.
tremendously. Tremendously. You've improved.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I need to get a little bit
I
better.
give you 70% improvement.
I think in the morning it's just a matter of me rushing because I wake up with specifically enough time of feeding her, taking her out, getting myself ready with like my coffee or whatever, and then climbing in there to go to work. And I try to get in there a little bit before I literally clock in because the second like I clock in and I go into the chat rooms, I'm gonna get bombarded by my agents and my whole day goes to crap when they start bombarding me right away. So I try to get in there a little bit earlier so that I can catch up with my email before I start getting a bunch of stuff. So I wake up with like minimal amount of time,
Yeah.
which is gonna change because I want to start waking up earlier to exercise. We'll see. That's a goal. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. And so we asked 2 questions of Lexi as well.
Did we? Oh yeah, you did mention that to me.
We did ask her 2 questions. And her answers were, number 1,
Well, first, what's the question before you say what's her answer?
the first question was, what's your favorite thing of living in New York? And her answer was policing. She loves policing.
She's always wanted to be a police officer, security guard, correction officer. She wants to keep people in line
Yeah.
all the time.
And then our front window, we're in a corner,
Yeah.
so she gets a back and forth. No one
Everybody.
can walk by there. It doesn't matter if it's a child, if it's an elderly person, a young person, a
Someone
person in a
walking their
bicycle,
dog. A golf
person in a
cart?
car, a golf cart. It doesn't matter. This area is a no-fly zone. And if you walk by here, then you have to endure.
Packages being dropped off.
Oh yeah, no.
Forget about that.
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
So she gets to do a lot of policing here.
Lots
So
of
she
policing.
enjoys that. She enjoys throwing herself against that window barking.
She does definitely slam the window
Yeah, she does.
and has disconnected the curtain on several
Oh
occasions.
my god. That's the big window over the bed. This one she only comes to, she'll come to this side
Yeah.
and move the curtain and peek out
Yeah.
when our neighbor comes. She usually gets home late at night. She leaves before we wake up in the morning, so we never hear her.
Yeah.
And she'll get home late at night, so when she hears the car coming in, she'll come and start barking at her from here. Or on the weekends, when she has like friends or family come over, then again, she'll come over to this weekend and start barking at them
Yeah,
to this window.
And we have actually 1, 2, 3, 4 windows.
Yeah.
This window on this side, I have insulation in it, for temperature. So she uses the window on that side,
Yeah.
the window in the front, and then she
This
uses this
one.
one. She will literally go through all 3 windows.
Right. Not the one by my office either because we also put another insulation. The emergency windows, the windows that come all the way out, we have 2 of those. Those are the ones that we slid insulation in. So no light comes in, we can't look out, and it's nice and it's actually helped with the temperature a lot because when the sun's coming up, it's coming from the east side and it like creates a lot of heat, especially for me in the work area in our bed. Like it's hot.
Yeah.
So that's helped a lot.
Yeah. But she uses all 3 windows to
Yeah,
make
she
sure she
does.
polices
She goes all the
in
way.
a 360.
To
She's
bark
very
at
thorough.
everyone. Yeah, she is.
And then we asked her, what's your favorite thing about living in an RV? At this RV park.
At this RV park, because she doesn't know about other ones yet.
Right.
But this one, she says that she's happy with her spot because Mary, the amazing manager on staff here, has put us in the corner lot that's like next to this huge lawn. So Lexi thinks it's her big yard.
Mm-hmm.
So we go outside, only with me she can go off leash. She can't go off leash with Lou. So with me, we'll go outside off leash and she'll explore all of it. And when she gets to a certain area that I can't see her, I'll call her and she'll come back to where I can see her. I can't see you over there, and she comes back.
Yeah, the green grass
But
area here is
it's-
about probably 100 feet by about probably 75 feet, somewhere
Okay.
in there.
Yeah.
And it's
She loves
supposed
it.
to have dollies parked there. So far, all that there is a boat.
One boat.
We don't know what it's going to end up looking like. I'm a little, I don't know if curious or concerned.
I don't think it's going to happen just because the Canada borders are closed, and that's when they would come. The snowbirds are going to come usually now when the weather starts to get colder over there. And then they have another lot that's to park, store RVs and stuff, but this turns into more of like for the dollies. They just put all the dollies here. But with the borders being closed, the only snowbirds I can think that are going to come down here probably New York, Maine, Rhode Island, I don't know, Washington, if they do come, because I think the majority of the snowbirds here are usually Canadians.
In this part, yeah.
Yeah, the majority of the snowbirds here are Canadians, and if the borders are closed, then I don't think we're going to experience that, and Lexi's going to be able to enjoy the lawn again.
Yeah.
Continue to, not again, but continue to enjoy her yard.
And so the reason Angie mentioned she can go out with her off leash, and the reason why she said that, she said she can go with Angie, she doesn't listen to the kid.
No
Doesn't
respect.
matter, none, zero,
No respect
Nothing.
for Lou.
nothing. No, it doesn't matter how much I yell or ask her to come back, she will look over her shoulder and continue walking.
She'll look at her and keep going.
And I walk towards her and she continues walking. So it doesn't work with me. It only works with Angie. So that's why I can take her out with a lead on, but I can't take her off leash because she doesn't listen to me.
Yeah. Alright, so those are her favorite things. The lawn and the policing. If you guys have any questions, specific questions for us about our first 3 months living stationary in the RV park in such a tiny space, working or with a dog, or any of our experiences, feel free to drop those questions down in the comments below. We'll be sure to answer them in Q&A.
Make sure you give us a thumbs up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. Make sure that while you click that subscribe button, you move over to the little bell and you click that so you can get notified every time we upload a video. And as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you soon.
Bye guys.